experiencing homelessness or income wise, you need a little bit of help kind of getting a better job. And it's called the Helping Veterans Receive Paychecks. So it's HVRP. Well, it's kind of the acronym, but it's Homeless Reintegration, Homeless Veteran Reintegration Project. So as it's formally known, but that's offered through some of the community partners as well. So the Salvation Army, the Goodwill, and I actually participated in a program similar to this, where the director of the program was, an unofficial mentor for everyone in the program. But when I got out of grad school, this program really helped. I got my resume brushed over. I got to practice some interviewing skills with other veterans. So it's really, really a successful model or a successful program I have had the opportunity to take advantage of. And then we're constantly giving each other job leads, right? So when you're trying to, catapult to that, dream job or continue kind of growing in your development, your economic development path or your pattern, it's really, really a nice program to have in place. And so this is another example of a female veteran specific, but there's also some that are available for both men and women veterans. And again, the host of activities, we got a chance to do like a flag presentation at one of the LA soccer teams events. So we had a pregame, free food, everything was awesome. So some of these networking events are not just fun, but they're also necessary to kind of keep that camaraderie going, build that community. And although the Goodwill, I believe, has since lost their funding for that particular programming, I know the Salvation Army also offers it. So I may reach out as I'm kind of looking for job opportunities. So if anyone needs any information about this, please reach out. This one, again, sounds like it's specific for women, but it just shows the need, right? We hear women veterans say this all the time, that these type of programs are needed. They're wanted, more women to help support other women. And so I'm going to be interested into looking in this as well. More information, you can contact info@acp-usa.org. One more time, info@acp-usa.org, or you can call 212-752-0700. And if you want any information about the HVRP program, you're welcome to email me directly at Martha at operationconfidence.org. One more time, Martha, Martha, at operationconfidence.org.
All right. Hello, this is Kevin.
Yes.
I wanted to say that HVRP is a program that I work for.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yes, with PATH, Veteran Services. So if anyone is interested,
that's
what I do.
Yes.
Well, we need all the information.
That's my program.
Really?
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, you got to give us some more information on that, Kev.
Okay.
No, I can't speak enough, Kevin, on how helpful this was program for me, right? I got out of grad school and I had no leads. And it was a pretty desperate situation, which you guys know. I was homeless for a couple of months when I relocated to LA. And if it wasn't for this program, then I ended up getting hired at Volunteers of America, the program that, actually connected me to the Goodwill. And it was just such a great network of veteran, professionals in LA that really do reach out. So I'm excited, Kevin. I didn't know that that was the exact program.
Yeah, so reach out to me. Yes, that's what I do.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, well, we're gonna turn it over to Charles now. Charles, you're at the Long Beach Festival, right? Can you hear us? You're muted.
I'm unmuted now, right?
Yeah, huh? You're at the Long Beach Festival?
I'm at the Long Beach Festival of Human Abilities. It's, disabled. Usually this place is packed with wheelchairs and all kinds of people, but because of COVID, there's a lot of organizations that aren't bringing their people over here. And, it's, I would say it's not even a half the crowd that it normally is. I mean, you couldn't get by people. There's so many people packed for this because, for one, and celebrate highlighting the creative talents and abilities of people with disabilities, you know, in their experience, live performances and demonstrations, including dancers, musicians, and artists here. And I'm here as an artist with Per Se. And the aquarium will present the Glenn McIntyre Heritage Award. Actually, that was yesterday. The festival started yesterday, and it continues through today. And this is every year. I've been doing this now for 10 years. It's been 10 years since we've been playing over here. So we play for this one, and then next month we'll play for the African American Festival. And so, you know, here I am. Let me see if I can give you guys a little, take this thing off and let's go with. So as you can see, you know, I'm over here down at the end of the big well. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm right here in front of the big tank at the Blue Cavern. If you've ever been to the aquarium before, so you know, nothing but fish, people, and kids. You know, it's a great environment to be in. You know, to take your family and bring your family over here. And so, you know, it's noisy. So I'm going to be, you know, I came on at the beginning just to kind of get this in and you know, give a share what's going on here. But you know, I know the show has to go on, and I'm not, and it's noisy, so I'm going to be muting myself. And we're actually, so we'll be setting up for 3:15 performance. So
Wow.
I'm to turn it back over to you, Connie, and you know, and I want to thank all the guests for coming out, and you know, thank all the guests for coming, and of course, this is the part I don't like. We have to sing with masks on. You know,
Oh my goodness, how you gonna do that?
just like this, you know, it's like I don't want to, but you know, you got to do what you got to do.
It. Right, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But you know, it still comes out. You get the right mask, you know, it comes out 95% clear. So
Right. Now that goes on today and tomorrow, right?
no, it was yesterday and today.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's a little late to talk about it now, but you know, but next year, you know, if you're interested, get your organization, any kind of disability organization. It's free to all people disabled and one caregiver. And so there are a lot of disabled organizations that come through here and bring bus loads of people, but you know, it's kind of risky. So a lot of people aren't doing it this year, and which, you know, it makes sense. And that's that. And believe it or not, last year they had us as performers in a room, and there were no people in the aquarium, but we did it anyway. So,
Right. That's so cool. Okay.
All right. So
Have fun.
yeah. So I'm gonna log off, and I'll see you guys next week. If you got any questions for me or problems or whatever, I'm here until about 3 o'clock. I'll be able
Okay,
to.
so
I'll
you
be.
gonna still stay on?
I'll stay on, but I'll be muted. Actually, I have my computer with me. I'm gonna log my computer on and keep you guys muted and help you out wherever I can.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Uh,
By the
Alrighty.
way, Lauren was needing some help with her. She's unable to get her pictures shown, but I guess there's nothing you can do from there though. But anyway, if she can't, she'll do it for next week. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, you know, it's just, you know, I can do what I can, but you know, right around here, it's kind of.
Right. Yeah, no problem. We'll do it next week. Okay. So, before we go to Darcy from Make Music LA, there's a video that was supposed to be shown in the beginning of the show right after our intro. That's extremely important. And we want Taylor to show it now. Can you show it now, Taylor? That literally tells you about who Operation Confidence is and what we're all about.
Yes.
Operation Confidence is
are
a
you hearing it?
grassroots nonprofit. The organization's mission is to provide stable housing for veterans who have experienced homelessness, as well as providing a wide range of supportive services. To help accomplish our goal, a successful landowner has donated land for the project, a world-renowned architect has offered to design the houses, and construction classes from the local community colleges will take part in building the houses. Your support and donations are needed. To get involved, please visit our website at www.operationconfidence.org or email info@operationconfidence.com.
Okay, so we want our viewers to know just about everything there is to know about Operation Confidence. Our main mission is to provide stable housing for our veterans, especially those who are disabled and have experienced homelessness. So we really want everyone to get involved and help us with our mission. We're very fortunate to have a world-renowned architect who's offered to design the houses. Land has been donated, 5 acres, and we have several community colleges, not just one, that's a part of helping us as well. So we're very excited and just wanted to make sure everyone knew about just what Operation Confidence is. Okay, so moving right along, Darcy, girlfriend, it's on you. You muted. There you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My organization is Make Music Los Angeles, and we are about 11 years old. And music is, it's the universal language. We don't have to do anything but listen to have our spirits lifted and to also have music accompany us during any time of our lives. But one of the things that comes to mind is, and why I researched and I'm going to be talking about musicians that are famous, is just that, thinking about certain artists that we know of, and did they have a military background, and what kind of a military background was it? And I located an article on a website called Coffee or Die. And this article was written by a gentleman named Matt Smythe, and it debuted last year on May 1st, actually, of 2021. And let me just read what he says, because it's really interesting. If you've thought about some people that are your favorite stars, what do they do? This is called The Most Comprehensive List of U.S. Military Veteran Musicians Ever. It's no secret that the military has creative souls within its ranks, from artists and writers to actors and musicians. We're seeing a rise in talented veterans who are giving life to their particular creative outlets. There are millions of folks who have artistic skills to share, but military veterans have unique wells of experience from which to draw. In the music world, there are generations of artists who are also veterans, from blues icon Howlin' Wolf of Buffalo Soldier and rocker Maynard James Keenan of Tool, Perfect Circle, and Pucifer, to up-and-comers like Silence and Light and Space Force. These names make up the most comprehensive list of American military veteran musicians so far, from the expected to the no way. Did every one of them serve honorably? Oh, hell no. They're musicians. Of course, some didn't dig the man. We've all been there at some point. So, Jerry Garcia is the first. The soul of the Grateful Dead. Garcia enlisted in the Army in 1960 after dropping out of high school at the age of 17. He lasted 9 months before receiving a general discharge for essentially being the complete opposite of a soldier. During that time, he had no assignment, so he played his guitar that he smuggled in all day. Johnny Cash. Cash served in the Air Force from 1950 to 1954 in Landsberg, West Germany. A Morse code operator charged with intercepting Russian communications, he caught the first wire transmission that Stalin was dead. He had a band named the Landsberg Barbarians, and he finished his service as a staff sergeant. The great B.B. King, the blues legend, was already known as BB, which stood for Blues Boy, from his time as a radio DJ. King enlisted in the Army in 1943 during World War II, but was allowed a discharge because he drove a tractor back home, which was considered an essential occupation in the home front war effort. Elvis Presley. Elvis was already a household name when he was drafted in 1958. He was attached to the Army's Company A, 2nd Medium Tank Battalion, 37th Armor at Fort Hood, Texas, before heading to 1st Medium Tank Battalion, 32nd Armor in Germany. He served until 1960. Now, John Fogerty. Fogerty received a draft letter from the Army in 1966 and went to the recruiter to sign up as a desk clerk. The recruiter backdated his enlistment to before the date of the letter. He was discharged in 68 and formed Creedence Clearwater Revival with his brother and 2 buddies. Now, Ice-T. OG rapper Ice-T, Tracy Lauren Marrow, graduated from Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles and enlisted in the Army in 1979 to support his young family. He served 4 years in the 25th Infantry Division before finishing his time in service, releasing Rhyme Pays soon after. Jimi Hendrix. Given the choice between the Army or jail after getting busted twice for riding in stolen cars, Hendrix chose to be a paratrooper and joined the 101st Airborne Division. He earned his Screaming Eagle patch in 1961 and was playing after-hours club gigs outside of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Failing to buy into military service, he was given a general discharge under honorable circumstances in 1962. John Coltrane. In 1945, Coltrane already had a regular musician gig, joined the Navy to avoid the draft. His first day of boot camp was the day the atomic bomb was dropped. He was stationed in New York before being shipped to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and being granted the opportunity to serve as a musician for an on-base band. He was discharged with honors in 1946. One more for you, Tony Bennett. Drafted into the Army in 1944, Bennett was an infantryman in the 63rd Infantry Division and served in France and Germany. He was demoted after a fight over segregated eating space, was eventually transferred to special services and toured Europe singing with a military band. So there are many more amazing artists that were in the military. I'll bring some more to you.
Oh, please, dude, that was so good, so informative. Yay. I had no ideas. Like, what was that, B.B. King? And
yes.
Oh,
John Coltrane.
John Coltrane. Yeah,
and of course, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. And what's Ice-T?
Yeah, Ice-T was with the 25th Infantry Division.
Right. Was that when you ran?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Did you meet him?
Yeah, a few times, and then also the other artist, can't remember his name, but
MC Hammer.
Too, huh?
MC Hammer.
No, it's the other artist with the 25th Infantry Division as well. I'll come to me in a little bit.
Okay.
That's so good. That was great information.
I heard that. I'm chiming in. I'm gonna just say a little something for you guys. Yesterday I met Ice Cube and Ice-T in my glass. You know, gotta go.
That was great.
How interesting. No, a extended family member of mine back in Minnesota actually was also in the service with Ice-T, and is very good friends with him still to this day. I would assume so. Sometimes we keep those buddies for life. So maybe there might be a way I could reach out to this extended family member of mine and see what would the chances be if we could get him involved in our project.
Oh, would you please? That would be amazing, because he's a good guy, you know. He's a humanitarian. Yeah, please do. All right, that was good. I really enjoyed that. Okay, so we're moving right along here. I think it's on you now, Lauren. You muted. There you go.
My name is Lauren Hammond, and my company is called Creative Charity Auctions. And I raise money for nonprofits and charities, schools, and religious organizations, and any group that is looking to raise money. I've worked with hundreds of nonprofits over the last 20 years, and my whole goal is to raise as much as possible for them. And we don't charge for our services, and they get a percentage of everything that is sold. Some of the items we include are sports, music, entertainment collectibles. We have art and jewelry and handbags and travel, both local, domestic, and international. And we gear what we bring to each event so that it helps in raising more money. And I always ask what the demographics and age range are of the guests attending, how much they're paying to attend, if there's a theme. And since the pandemic, we started doing online auctions. So we're doing now silent live and online. And so, and we've worked with helping to raise money for Operation Confidence a few times. And I know we will be doing so again. And we would love to help. We work with other veteran groups. We work with Folds of Honor and the Wounded Warrior Project and some other ones as well. So we're here to help for anything. And we have an online store. So if anybody wants to buy an item, they can go in and pick out something, say that they saw me on Operation Confidence, and a percentage of that will go, 25% will go to Operation Confidence. So please, if there's anything we can do to raise money, we'd love to do that. It's such a wonderful organization, and veterans really need help. So please contact me. You can reach me either by going to my website, which is creativecharityauctions.com. It's Creative Charity Auctions with an S.com. And my office number is 818-840-1200. 818-840-1200. And my email, if you'd like to email, is Lauren, Lauren, H at creativecharityauctions.com. So thank you.
Lauren has some amazing items. It's too bad that she's unable to share her screen, but she'll be on next week.
I have some pictures of hers I can show you right now.
Oh, great. Okay, good.
I'm going to do it right now.
Okay.
If this works.
You
Yes, I will mute myself once I get going. I'm going to do it right now.
Charles came to the rescue. Yeah, there we go.
So this is an event that we did, and this is one of our setups. We obviously have hundreds and hundreds of setups, and this is one of them. And you were speaking about Elvis, and there's Elvis and Aretha Franklin, and who Marilyn Monroe helped during her time. And we have a lot of music pieces, the art, and these right here that you're looking at are big sellers. Batman and the Star Wars, Lucy and Desi, and those tend to sell all the time. So these are just a few examples of what we have and how we set up the items. And so if anyone is interested in buying in our store, if you see some of these items and you'd like to buy something, you can donate to Operation Confidence, again, that percentage, or pick a charity you would like us to donate to, and we'd be happy to help raise money. So thank you.
Who was that you reached? There you go, girlfriend. Who was that celebrity that you recently held an auction for, and that you had given at other events?
A couple of weeks ago, we did one for Fred Williamson for the Wounded Warrior Project.
Yeah, but wasn't the other Magic Johnson or somebody?
Oh, Magic. Oh, we did an event. It was the Turner Foundation, and he was the speaker, and he and Jerry West. And so they were answering questions. A lot of it was about Kobe, a lot of questions about Kobe. This has been a big seller. It's a replica of his championship ring, and with a signed card. And it has his stats on it. And this has been a very good seller as well. And a lot of the photos that you are looking at have been good sellers. The Beatles usually will sell at every event.
Mhm.
And it's just items that we like to bring. Although we gear what we bring to each event, we also like to bring our best sellers in because there's something for everyone. And so if anyone is looking to raise money, that's what we're here to do.
And
So,
one other thing, we have an artist in the house is Richard Cook, and his artwork, actually his photographs, which looks like paintings, will be a part of your auction collection as well, right?
he came by the office the other day, and we're going to buy next week. We will have his items up on our store.
Oh, how wonderful. And we'll be able to show his work. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And once you hear his story that he's visually impaired and has had 3 strokes, and he's still able to do some amazing, I consider him as a role model. So we're all excited that you were able to take on his work and put it up.
And it's true. It's photography, but they look like paintings.
Isn't that amazing?
Beautiful.
The work that he does? We're excited. And you'll be able to show that next week as well,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Congratulations, Richard. Hey, yay.
So, well, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know you have to leave, but we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks. And we got
You're
to
welcome.
thank Charles. He came through, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Okay.
And there's nobody disabled when it comes to that. We got to get it all done. Get it in one way or the other.
That's right. I love it. Thank you. Great.
Thank you. Everyone have a great day.
Okay, you too, sweetheart.
Thank
So
you.
you, Martha, you going to introduce Kev?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Connie. Our next monthly segment host is Mr. Kevin Lewandowski, who is an aircraft and structural firefighter / paramedic veteran who overcame homelessness, alcoholism, and drug abuse after being discharged from the military. After finding God, he then began to lead a productive life of service, helping other veterans as well as himself. He currently, as we heard, is a Veterans Employment Specialist 3 with the HVRP program at People Assisting the Homeless in Hollywood, or also known as PATH. His guest today is Katie Thompson, a licensed social worker who was dedicated to get her master's degree in social work at USC with a focus on military social work with veterans after living near Camp Lejeune and seeing her friends being discharged from the military without support systems set up. She interned at the Transitional Housing for Homeless Veterans on Skid Row before working with the HUD-VASH program until 2020. Katie is currently working full-time as a case manager for LA Care, as a behavioral coach at ABE 2, and a per diem social worker for the Good Samaritan Hospital. Wow, that's very impressive. Thank you, Katie, for your service to helping veterans. So if you want to take it from here, Kevin, and introduce your wonderful guest for the day.
Kev, you're muted. Before Kevin comes on, we want to thank Darcy once again. She's going to be leaving. She did an excellent job. She's a little under the weather, but we thank you so much for coming on, Darcy. And we look forward to you coming back, girl, and sharing some more phenomenal information about Make Music LA and, of course, our celebrity musicians.
Thank you, Connie. It was a pleasure to be here. It was really good to see everybody. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, precious. Thank you.
Thank
Feel
you.
better, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, Kev, take it away.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Kevin Lewandowski. And as Martha said, I work currently with the homeless veterans, finding them employment and getting them vocational training, housing, whatever it needs to make them successful veterans back in life again. So what I do is I get a homeless veteran, and of course, before we can get them employment, we have to make sure they're stable. Now, make sure they have stable housing, make sure that they have the training they need, make sure that they have the clothing they need, materials they need, gas for the car, or some type of bus pass or something in order to get them to and from the job. So my job is not only to find them a job, but it's also employment retention. That's a big part of my job. Is once they get employed, we follow them for a year and make sure that they're able to keep their job. And if they're not able to do the particular job that they accept at first, we find them something more suitable. So my main job is to get them employed and keep them employed. So with that, I would like to. That's how I met. Actually, I met Katie actually when I was working for SSVF, Supportive Service for Veterans Families, getting housing for the veteran. And she had a caseload of veterans that needed housing. So we worked together in getting these veterans into permanent housing. So that's how I met her. And then she branched off into the VASH program, which she'll explain, it's like a Section 8 for the veterans. And then I moved into the HVRP for the incarcerated veterans. And then she moved on to Good Sam. And then I moved on to PATH. And then she moved on to LA Care. So it's my step is next. The next move. So we've been friends for a while. And she's a very good auntie to Miss Bella. And from there, I would like to introduce you, Katie, and I will let you, Katie, explain a little bit about what you've done, what you're doing, and the reason why you do it, and just you take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate being invited here and really appreciative of the friendship I have with you, Kevin, and the guidance you gave me when I first started working with veterans here in Los Angeles. So I am originally from Pennsylvania, but moved to North Carolina to get my undergrad degree, where I lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, and really close to Camp Lejeune. So a lot of my coworkers and friends and classmates were either still in the military or were veterans. And when I graduated from undergrad, I had such a strong pull to work with veterans, and I knew that I couldn't really find as many jobs if I didn't have my master's degree. So I came to USC to get my master's because it did have one of the best military social work programs in the country. And from there, my internship was on Skid Row at the barracks, which is where I met Kevin. And Kevin is such a wealth of knowledge. I call him all the time to this day with questions about resources, especially now that I'm working in the hospital. Even though I'm no longer really working directly with veterans, I feel like you're always going to run into veterans who need help. And having that background and helping veterans who come into our emergency room or ICU and helping connect them to different resources around Los Angeles is so vital and so important. What else did you want me to talk about? I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm a little nervous.
You can talk about the need for, like when you work for VASH and things, how it's a struggle to find housing for some of these veterans and transitional housing. Just the struggle is to get them what they need.
No, exactly. So I worked in transitional housing for about a year, and then I moved into HUD-VASH, and I loved HUD-VASH because I loved that it was a service that you could see results, but sometimes the results were really hard to find. As we all know, living in Los Angeles, housing is really hard to obtain, and especially with the Section 8 voucher, which limits the possibilities of housing. And so what we would do is help find housing for veterans and keep them sustainably housed. So helping remind them when to pay rent and talk to them about paying electricity and cooking and cleaning and a lot of things that they might not have the knowledge of. And I loved it because I got to work with so many different types of people, different ages. I think my youngest was 26 and my oldest was in their early 80s. So it was really incredible just getting to learn so many different people's stories and histories and time in the military, especially Vietnam veterans. I know they're not myself, but one of my coworkers had a veteran from World War II, which I thought was really, really interesting. And his stories were incredible.
Wow.
And people don't realize how homelessness is a disability
Mm-hmm.
because people won't look at it as, as disabled, but being homeless disables you from society. And, I know I'm just proof, proof of the pudding because, I went through it myself. Being on the streets for 28 years, you're so disconnected to society. A lot of times, I did not have contact with a person, any real conversation except give me money for beer or dinero for the cerveza. That's all that I knew to say to people. And people that wouldn't come up to you and start a conversation, you didn't know what current events were. You didn't know anything. So and it kind of, it slows you down from realizing how prices are and how just what's going on in the world. So when you finally, you get into one of these transitional housings, and then it's time for you to get permanent housing. You get in that permanent housing, and like for myself, I didn't like it in there. I didn't want to be in there because now I'm sitting alone by myself with my feelings, which I never had to do because I went from the homelessness for 28 years into prison, and then from there, that's 30 years, of really never being alone. There's someone always around you. So when you get put into an apartment or a place of your own to live, and you're in there alone, it's very, very uncomfortable. And that's part of the reason. That's how Miss Bello came about. But that's a story for another day. But but it is very disabling, and some people they just can't handle it. And they get into these housing facilities, and they can't make it.
Do they put them with roommates maybe?
Well, there's other
Compatible?
there are shared housing, and there's other steps that you can take, like transitional housing and that type of stuff. But the ultimate goal is, to get them ready to be in permanent housing by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, you know more than anything working with these VASH people. When they get into their own place, like you said, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, they don't know how to do laundry.
Right.
All the stuff that we take for granted.
Right.
They don't know.
That's amazing, though. And look at you today. You're literally a role model. So proud of you, having you involved with Operation Confidence and on our board and experiences. And I love how you say that it was because of your connection finally with God that led you to where you are today. And that's what we're all about. That's what Operation Confidence is all about. I'm not a veteran, but somebody up there told me just keep on working and you're going to make it work for our vets. So I love you for what
It keeps growing and it keeps me going too. Look at now. I'm making more money than I really kind of imagined, with this new position that was basically put into my lap.
Right. That's because that man upstairs did it.
Yeah, everything has been put into my lap. All these from my first job with SSVF, and then how I've grown, in these 4 years. I've had 1, 2, 3 promotions, and now with another organization, that came after me. I didn't go after them.
Right.
For that to happen, that's after 30 years on the street.
But your life experiences has turned out to be knowledge to be able to help others. What you've gone through is like a textbook. Yeah. So it's amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Bella, well, they don't really hire me. They hire Miss Bella. I just come along with her. That's all.
And you keep talking about it, but you can't get her to come out the room.
I keep calling Miss Bella.
She's still mad.
Mad, she won't come.
Whenever Kevin would come to the barracks, or the first thing I would say is like, "Oh my gosh, Miss Bella," and then I'll be like, "Oh, hi, Kevin." It's like a second thought.
That's everybody.
On about Miss Bella. Yeah.
We all love her. That's his service
dog.
And he'll tell us about that when he comes back next time. But it's because of Miss Bella is why he's where he is today.
Right.
She's a companion, and she's sweet, and she's arrogant, and she's Bella. She
She's
won't.
mad 'cause she wants to go outside.
You can't pick her up and just let her say hello real quick.
I'll go after this. I'll turn my camera off. I'll go get her.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Katie. You've been absolutely wonderful. You're going to come back, huh, girlfriend? And
I'll
maybe
come back
yeah.
if you want me.
Oh, please do.
Of course we do.
Yeah, you one of us now, so you have to come back and share more stories and maybe even invite one of your successful clients. That would be great too.
I would love to. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, it's
And I
my
appreciate all that you guys do.
We're trying. We sure need your knowledge and help too, believe me. So don't go too far, okay? Okay, great.
Hey, I'm just to jump in and let you guys know I'm a log off now. You know, it's getting close to that time that you know, here I am, you know, Long Beach Aquarium, Strong Beach it is, and I'll say goodbye to you guys, and thanks for all the, Well, you know, theoretically you have to get written permission and all. This is a whole, you know, so you know, it's more paperwork than needed. But you know, if you see me play, you know me. Yeah. All right, y'all, take care, and I'm glad I could help where I could, and see you next week.
Okay.
All right. And thanks, John, for coming out. Before I go, John, John Oppenheim, you know, I know he's a veteran, you know. So
I also have my
there you go. That's right. Yeah, all right. See, that's good. So I'll check you guys later. Thank you, Wendy, John, Katie, Richard, Martha, Carolina, Kevin, Taylor, Wendy, everybody else, and the people that weren't here. I'm out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bella.
All right.
Here's Miss Bella.
Oh, there she is. You don't have any outfits on, huh?
No, she didn't want it on.
Okay.
Because she ran the house, she's naked. Just let me go out, I put the dress on her.
Okay. Hi, Miss Bill. Oh, she's so precious. You got to tell us a story about her too next time.
Okay, I will.
We're moving right along here. Taylor, it's on you. Introducing Dr. Wendy Childress.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Wendy Childress is a retired Army chaplain, having served in the Army and the California Army National Guard. She has a Doctor of Ministry degree and is a life coach, living life completely. Wendy will introduce her guest today, Air Force veteran John Oppenheim.
Yes.
Take it away, Wendy. But first,
Thank you.
can you lead us in a prayer?
Of course, my humble honor. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this day, thanking you for waking us up and with a sound mind and with our health and strength. We ask you that you just continue to guide us, that we might do the work that you have before us. We ask that you keep us healthy and strong. We ask for your protection over our nation and over our loved ones. And we ask that you continue to guide us as we traverse this path of helping our veterans. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, I'll say it at the end. I'll give his introduction, his bio real quick. John Oppenheim is a native San Franciscan. In 1958, at the age of 17, he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. After basic training and medic schools in Texas and Alabama, he was stationed at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, where he spent the rest of his enlistment in various medic capacities, earning an honorable discharge in September of 1962. After serving in the Air Force, John completed his education in accounting. For the past 50 plus years, he has worked with application software as a salesman, manager, and has had his own company, all in accounting and software systems. John has also had a career in education, serving as an adjunct professor of management information systems at Pepperdine University and an instructor at Downey Adult School. For the past 10 years, He has been a consultant working with nonprofits to improve their effectiveness and efficiency. I'm getting tongue-tied here. Through such technologies as CRM software and Canvas. John has served as the Chief Operating Officer for Veterans Yoga Project, a nonprofit, and currently he is a board member of City Heart and COO of the Veterans Council by City Heart. Additionally, John is an advocate and activist for veterans in the Long Beach area. And that is what caught my attention. I had the pleasure of meeting John just last month. I would say under not the best circumstances because we were at home going for a mutual friend's mother. But it was not a sad homegoing, so it was okay. So I met John there. We sat at the same table and we began to talk. And he said he was a veteran, and I said I need to get your number. He also texted me. He knew John Charles Whitehead when I sent him a link to view some of the previous videos. So it is a small world. So this is how I ended up with having John as a guest, because speaking with him at the homegoing service of a friend's mom, we had a conversation, and you never know where conversations will lead you. So we should always indulge with others when we have the opportunity. With that being said, John, how are you?
Oh, I'm great.
All right. So he's a very busy man. His niece was there with him and she couldn't even keep up with him. She said he had her going. So John does not let any moss grow under his feet. So John, we know you served in the Air Force and you did your 4 years, correct?
Pretty much. They let me out early.
They let you out early for good behavior. I know.
I want to go to college.
Yes. So I really want to talk about what you are doing and your work that you do. And please share any and everything that you'd like to share, because when I was talking with you, you talked about working in Long Beach with U.S. vets and your passion to make sure vets are treated fairly. So please share with us what it is that you do and anything you would like to share, please.
Well, bless you. Thanks a lot. And first of all, I'd like to say that this is good, and I really appreciated meeting Wendy. Like I say, under those circumstances, our mutual friend is Brenda Threat. A lot of you know her. The other thing is, my story should sound familiar to Katie and Kevin. As you said, I'm a volunteer. I actually volunteer, and I'll take you back a little bit on it, but I volunteer at Century Villages at Cabrillo in Long Beach, which is a community of 1,500 people. About 600 to 700, depending on what day it is, are veterans. And about 400 of those veterans live in permanent housing. And that's kind of where I have been spending my time. And my passion and my focus is on veterans and others who live in permanent supportive housing. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and express this. There's a lot going on right now. Not all of it's very pretty. So with all the good stuff we've heard, unfortunately, I'm going to have to talk a little bit about the things that may not be, but I think need to be heard and understood. First of all, I started in 2014 teaching yoga at Century Villages for the VA. I became a yoga instructor. I got fired in 2002 from my last job, as I told my wife. The computer business is kind of a volatile industry, very high stress and a few other things. But anyway, I started picking up yoga. And I do have to correct you on one thing. That was my granddaughter, not my niece.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes,
no,
you're
okay.
right. Thank you for that correction.
Yeah, she's great. She lives in North Carolina, actually.
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. So I started teaching yoga there for the VA in a recovery program that the VA has. It's actually a residential program, and they use a transitional housing there in Long Beach. And in teaching yoga, I started reconnecting with veterans in a way that I hadn't been, although I've been going to the VA. And when I got fired, I was lucky enough to get into the VA and start getting care there since I wasn't old enough for Medicare yet. And these people in recovery are really going through a lot, and yoga was really helping them. But I got to know them more and more. And you mentioned that I'd been COO for Veterans Yoga Project, and in 2017, having helped them build that up, I decided to move on and start volunteering more of my time at the villages. And the Century Villages at Cabrillo, and those of you who haven't been around supportive housing or permanent supportive housing, there's things like VASH and HUD, Section 8, but also they come with something called supportive services. And so Brenda asked me when I was asking her what I could do to help to go over and work with the elder veterans or older veterans, my peers, and who are in the permanent housing, and start really trying to help, do some things there. And one of the things I found out as I started getting involved with this is that there's a great myth out there that and by the way, almost everybody who lives in the villages has been homeless. So this myth is that there's a lot of homeless veterans out there, and we're taking them off the street and we're putting them into supportive housing, and everything's taken care of. Let's go get some more vets and put them in supportive housing. The problem with that is that the supportive housing, which is supposed to come with services, is not always administered as well as you would like to see administered to veterans. Where I volunteer, there are 250 beds that are underfunded for services. And so it's, without getting into a lot of the gory details, there's a lot of problems that exist within the community there. Kevin, you were talking about being isolated and you get lonely and depressed. And with 300 veterans who live in that supportive housing, and 3 case managers, it's very difficult for the case managers to really help everybody. And I do wear 2 hats. So I also wear a service hat, which is kind of what the other thing I wanted to talk about if I got time. But one of the things is that about 6-7 months ago, it was last May actually, and I've been going to meetings with the residents there who are talking to property. Property was saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But after about 5 meetings and you hear the same thing, you say, well, they're telling them what they want to hear. They're not necessarily going to do it. Well, last spring, and it was the end of May, one of the residents there stabbed his roommate to death. And it really shook up the community because it was in this building that is called the Plaza, that houses about 230 veterans. And because of some of the outreach that we've done, I was able to bring in an organization called VPAN, which is part of the Department of Mental Health in LA County, stands for Veteran Peer Access Network. And so they came in and we met with the residents there, and they were expressing their concerns, their fears. There's a combat veteran from Vietnam with PTSD who said, I'm afraid to go out of my room. And when you have people like that saying that, you say, well, okay, we got some problems here. And unfortunately, the 2 organizations, the big organizations that serve the veterans there, they put out some really nice brochures and videos, but they don't really go down underneath it. And so my advocacy has really been trying to get to the VA, to the county, to the city, anybody that'll listen to me, and trying to express that these people have problems, they need help, they need better care, and they need to be listened to. And
Right.
so over the past 8 months, no, about 3 weeks later, I got to go back on that. There was another murder there. It was a non-resident fleeing from Century Villages, and he ended up crashing into the guard shack. He killed the guard who happened to live there, another veteran, and then he took off. He finally gave himself up. So you can imagine that if you live there, you start getting a little worried about these things. And the biggest issue right now for those veterans is safety. There's just I can't describe it in enough words, at least in the time I have. But the property people are saying, "Hey, we're taking care of it. We're going to do this." They change guard companies. Yesterday, I actually attended a protest rally in front of Century Villages, and many of the residents came out, especially a lot of the veterans, to really protest that they're not being heard. And there was an immediate response on Century Villages at Cabrillo website saying, "Oh, wow, we are taking care of things. There's misinformation going out, blah, blah, blah."
Of course.
Right. Yeah. So it's getting to really be something, and these people have formed their own union. And anybody that's been around HUD housing, if you don't know it, you can know it now, that anybody who's in HUD housing, any of the residents, can form a union, and it is sanctioned by HUD. So, yeah.
That's good to know. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's important to know, especially in Long Beach. There's 47 buildings that have that are HUD supported, and quite frankly, even Bash is supported by HUD. And anyway, so
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
that was Alexa talking to me. Sorry.
John, let me ask you this, because I just thought about that. I put the links that you shared with me about the work that you're doing. It just dawned on me, I maybe should have asked first. The one link where you interviewed the residents of the Cabrillo housing,
Yeah.
are they okay with that being shared?
Oh,
Those
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
That
All
video
right, because
is-
I don't want to put anybody in a bad situation. So
Yeah.
those of you, I sent that to all of you. I'm going to suggest that you look at that link. One is heart-wrenching, and you'll be on fire like John is for helping more fire. And listen, because all of you are on fire for helping vets. So let me correct myself. And John, I'm sorry, I'm going to say one last thing and then let you finish. Make sure you get Kevin's information.
Yeah. Well, and we actually one of the organizations that has supportive housing or does the services is PATH down there.
Okay.
It's not a veteran housing. It's called a family commons.
And John, you know what we're doing, and I want you to get our information too. I want to connect with you as well, because Operation Confidence is definitely out there trying to help our veterans, especially with housing.
Well,
And
and this is, yeah, and these people, Vietnam veterans, a lot of disabled.
right.
All four of the people that were on the video were out on the picket line, so to speak. And there were many others. I think there were 4 or 5 of the veterans in wheelchairs there.
Right.
One of the big issues, and I've been trying to lobby for it, is that the villages at Cabrillo is an island, and it's a food island. The closest grocery store is about 4 miles away, and especially the people who are disabled are supposed to get on a bus, go to the store, get back on the bus with their groceries, and go back. And because in the supportive housing, they don't get fed; they have to cook for themselves. There's a woman that runs the program there for U.S. vets. Her name is Dawn, and she has a food bank every Wednesday to hand out food. City Heart, where I volunteer, also does that. So we do a lot of other services. And I'm out waving a flag that, don't let these people with all their money and all their reputation fool you. it isn't that great. And the big
Right.
thing, and my wife and I were watching last night a television show from it's a British show about the Lord and Lady of the Manor and the people who work there, the servants.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were watching that, well, first of all, it's a great show because the servants win the lottery and end up buying the manor. But the attitude of the Lord and the Lady of the Manor is very, very, you know, overlooking, as you say, or, you know, I keep trying to, I'm losing the word again, but it's, they kind of look down on people, you know. This is
Condescending.
yeah, thanks. Condescending is one that's, yeah, I was getting there. It's patronizing is the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks for interrupting me so I could remember it. Anyway, and the attitude of the people who work with them is patronizing. They say, well, they say, we want to listen to you. We want to hear what you have to say. And Century just spent a lot of money on a safety study. By the way, Guard Shack's not up yet because they had to wait for the whatever, you know, that's 8 months. So they've got people coming through the gate. The problem is there are so many access points along a freeway that's next to there. There's 16 holes in the fences. And so there's a lot of homeless people. When I was there yesterday, I watched two guys walking out. And a lot of those homeless people are on drugs. They bring drugs with them. There's prostitution.
Oh, wow.
And it's a long story. And I'm not trying to get everybody riled up. I'm just telling you what.
No, John, if I could say, I've worked with veteran housing now for the last 3 years, and I applaud you for waving the flag. Much like you said, to my surprise, to my disgust, being a veteran, this was the same experience that I had. Everything with the transitional housing, which with any veteran who suffers from PTSD or has had any experience, traumatic experience, they're not going into those shelters. They don't feel safe, right? The advocacy is missing. And Connie and I have talked about this over and over and over. And that's what sets the difference apart from the programs that work and the programs that don't work, right? That advocacy piece that's not there in these traditional programs. And as you explained, you know, for me, having to connect each and every veteran to that final destination of permanent housing through the HUD-VASH program, that can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months. And to expect that the veteran can go through this on their own, understand, I mean, it's traumatic in itself, even that process. So to be there with them, to help them, you know, along the way, is something that I don't think these programs understand either, right? So it's like, well, we want to hear what you have to say, but if you're so traumatized and afraid, it's not easy for you to speak out on your own and explain like you and I can help them explain. And so you hit it right on the head. And this is why we've, as an organization in Consuela, working to get her housing project off the ground. We definitely want you to be, you know, on our advisory council in some capacity to share that knowledge that you have as we build our programs, taking all that into, you know, into account as we start looking for, you know, connecting the dots so that these veterans don't continue to fall through the cracks. So thank you for highlighting that, because most people won't, you know, really tell the truth about what's going on. And it's really important that we do, because our veterans depend on, you know, you and I speaking out for them.
Absolutely. And I should point out that the veterans, most of the veterans I'm talking about are not in transitional, they're actually in permanent. So there's 400 permanent housing units there, but
and
they're
still have the need.
But they're still being treated the same way. And as I was saying, I was watching this show, I'm thinking, you know, that's kind of the way that these organizations act. Like, you're lucky to be here.
Yeah.
That we're giving you this, right? And so in thinking about that, you know, there's got to be an attitude change. And one of the big things that, and I'm sure, Kevin, you can really relate to this, is that the people who pay the salaries of the people who run these places are the people who live there. They're customers. They're not people that you can just talk down to or expect to follow along. And so what we're really pushing for with the union is to get a round table, not a square table where you got somebody at the head.
Ahead, right?
Right? Put the union together with management and get management to understand that these people who live there need to be part of the decisions for the priorities of the way the money gets spent, because I don't care how good their study is. It's kind of like when somebody gets an architect to put plans for a house, and if you don't really do it right, what ends up at the end doesn't look like what was on the plan in the beginning. So anyway, so I appreciate that. And
You're welcome. And I just wanted to point this out. So Martha, you really want to look at the one video, and that's why I asked John, because we had talked about it, and he sent me the link of an interview that he did, that he did. And he does put out the caveat that he did this on his own. He's not working for any organization, or he doesn't know anybody, anything. He did this, he took the initiative to do this on his own and interviewed some of the residents there and their stories. It's like, wait, infestations, and just like he said, being attacked. And a woman, I know she was there, she said she was attacked. And it's like, okay, and those, as he just shared with us, that are in power or in charge or overseeing the program are doing nothing. So,
well, that
yes,
was
go ahead.
right after she had her catalytic converter stolen.
Right.
And she said this yesterday. That was 3 months ago. Not one person from either organization, either the housing people or the service people, has ever gone to her and apologized.
Wow.
There's a 80-something-year-old, he's even older than I am, veteran in a wheelchair out there who had his wheelchair stolen.
Wow.
And the person that stole it painted it red and left it out in the parking lot, fortunately. He got it back. He had to go to the VA, get his battery recharged. Anyway, he repainted it black. And I asked him about 2 weeks ago, I said, well, have anybody ever come over and apologized in the name of the people who are supposed to be taking care of me? He said, no. And
that's horrible.
Well, but the issue is, and you see this in home, people who own big businesses and stuff like that. Not all of them. I worked in business and we didn't feel that way. But there's a lack of empathy and understanding of veterans. There are no veterans in management out there, in top management. So they're managing veterans, and quite frankly, they're a little intimidated by them because, most veterans don't sit back there and say, gee, I tell you, we got people that have been in combat in Vietnam and Afghanistan, and they're not going to sit back there and be quiet. So it's really good. I do want to mention one thing, though, that I wear two hats, and I said this, and I appreciate listening to Advocacy Hat, and if you invite me, that's great. I'd love to participate. But I also wear a service hat, and just like Kevin, we are at City Heart. We have our own building, and we call it the Hub, and we have a place where people can come in, sit down, drink coffee. I invite anybody on this call to get in touch with me. We'll have you come down there. We have a computer lab for people that want to borrow computers. And we're trying to help the case managers because they're so overloaded. What we're doing is we're trying to give the services that they have to perform that are kind of administrative, like helping with benefits. Help the guy get a social security statement. We have computers there. We're connected to a network called Unite Us, and we're also creating our own local resources. And so, a lot of the veterans are coming over, as well as some of the other residents there. One guy was in a hospital. It's a long story. Had all his stuff thrown out, and he needed clothing. And so we got clothing, food, and that's what City Heart does. And that's why the Veterans Council, which is a part of that, we were actually formed separately, and then we joined them about a year ago. And so, I kind of put my money where my mouth is. I go out and do this with one hand, and I do this with the other. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm lucky. I said I was on a lucky tour and I had a lucky life, and now I'm just giving back. I'm too energetic to sit around and watch television all day, so I go down there and shake my fist and hand out coffee.
His
Wow.
granddaughter said that. His
Yay.
granddaughter said he can't. He does more than I do. He wore his granddaughter out that weekend. Matter of fact, after the memorial service, he was taking her someplace. He had to be somewhere. So he is not just a man of words. He's a man of actions. And I have to say this, I've been blessed to just in speaking with people to meet some wonderful people out here doing work for veterans on their own and oftentimes using their own resources. So I am humbled and thankful for the opportunity to meet people like John, and there was Sherelle, Commander Sherelle, and Mr. Hendricks and others. So
We glad to know that too.
thank you. It's been an honor to just and to bring these people to you because you all
Exactly.
great connections. So
And John, you mentioned someone very close and dear to my heart, Brenda Trett. We have a 20-some year friendship. She's one of my main supporters. I love her dearly. She's responsible for Wendy being involved on the show. So give my love to Brenda if you see her anytime soon.
Oh, I do. She's on the board of City Heart.
Yeah, well, let her know I send my love. Okay.
Tell her Kevin and Miss Bella say hello too.
Right.
Yeah, she knows Miss Bella. She knows Miss Bella.
You met Brenda at our event, right?
Yes.
Right.
She knows Miss Bella.
Yes, right.
She
Everybody
was
knows Miss
with
Bella.
Asa too.
Okay. Richard, take your hand down, guy. She says he has his hand up here. You have to remove your hand.
Yeah, I just want to make a statement based on what he just said.
Oh, for sure.
I worked with fair housing for the federal government. I also was in Pasadena where I was the vice president for fair housing out there. And pretty much everything besides that, I also worked for the Fred Jordan Missions downtown Los Angeles.
Wow.
Say this, if you need any help, John, just let me know because everything that's going on can get resolved if they do it the right way based on fair housing laws and the American Disabilities Act.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I'll try and get your contact info, or I'll give you mine if you want.
Okay.
Chat. Yeah, thanks.
That's great. Thank you. All right. So we want you back again, John, please. And don't forget, I'm going to reach out to you because I really want to share with you what Operation Confidence is all about and what we've been doing for a long time. Okay. It just didn't start overnight. We've been doing this for a long time. So we really want to get you involved and get your support, okay?
Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Richard, we're going to have our next guest to come on. That's Richard. Martha, you going to introduce my dear friend, Richard Cook?
You got it, Connie. Today I will be reintroducing U.S. Army Special Forces veteran Richard Cooks, who we've heard some amazing information about and his artistic abilities and how he continues to just inspire us daily with all of his accomplishments. His guest today is Carolina Hernandez, who was inspired by her childhood in Mexico. Carolina was to become a designer with a purpose. After watching her mother and grandmother sew and create garments, Carolina was fascinated by the process and decided to join in the family tradition, which led her to Los Angeles, California, with the desire to attend fashion design school. However, in 2005, Carolina decided to give back to the country that had given her a life-changing opportunity. Therefore, she joined the U.S. Navy and served on board the USS Pearl Harbor, where she deployed in support of the global war on terrorism in 2005, the Partnership of the Americas in 2007, conducting maritime security operations, or also known as MSO, in the Arabian Gulf in 2008. After her active duty service, she joined the Navy Reserves and mobilized in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in 2012. In 2014, Carolina earned her Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in fashion design from the Art Institute of California, San Diego, where she received a scholarship during the 6th annual fashion show competition, attaining the Most Creative Award. Because of her diverse background, Carolina decided to incorporate her military experiences with her first passion, design. For this reason, she created the brand Veteran Couture, founded in 2015. Currently, she continues developing new fashion designs that she presents during community charity events, and she works as a public affairs peer counselor of Veterans Stand Together, a veteran nonprofit organization that provides training and resources to veterans. Take it away, Richard.
Okay, well, what I want to do is be able to compliment Ms. Hernandez for what she has done, because we have kind of worked together in what we've talked about post era based after what she has gone through. So the thing is, I'm very pleased to introduce Ms. Hernandez, Carolina Hernandez. Go ahead and take it away, Carolina.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Carolina Hernandez, and after 4 years of service, I couldn't let it go. This is why I joined the reserves. So I've been in for 17 years now, and I love it. I'm attached to a medical unit right now, and I'm not a nurse, but I feel like that's the beauty of the Navy Reserves, that we get to develop different skills and somehow continue serving. So I love that. I'm very passionate about that. And on the other side, I always describe it as the yin and yang, right? The analytical of the military, the discipline, and the creativity of fashion. I like to use my creative skills to design fashion garments that I get to display in support of different events. Like I've done events where I bring my models on board the USS Iowa just to kind of mingle with the audience. I've done interviews for Univision, Estrella TV, right? It's the same thing, like bringing the concept of like creativity using fashion to support our veteran community, which I think is extremely needed. Right now, working for a Veterans Stand Together, which is a nonprofit. We're aiming to team up with other organizations. We're not trying to compete with anybody. We're trying to help and empower our veteran community. I'm actually hosting a Sip and Paint Tea Party on February 12th for female veterans, where I'm actually leading the workshop. And that's what we're trying to do, to give back in any way possible, utilizing that creativity and also the military background that a lot of our veterans have. And, I'm here to be a resource to all of you in any way. Like I said, I'm an artist, but I also have the analytical skills when it comes to, working as a veteran. I understand the struggles of like getting out of the service and not know where to go, or you don't know who to contact. That's why on Facebook, I developed my group, the Military Network group, because it's the same thing, right? I feel like sometimes just sharing a link, just sharing a resource, it can change the veterans' lives. And I feel like, I'm gonna use every platform, social media, in person, workshops, in any way to help. I feel like we only live for a period of time, and I want to make sure that, like every day it's an opportunity for me to make an impact in any way. So thank you so much for having me here. And like I said, I'm more than happy to provide any resources, to share anything. And if I don't know, I'll Google it.
You have to come back and bring some of your models.
Yeah, let's can you tell us about the event coming up?
I can actually share the flyer.
Okay.
Sure, so it's going to be February 12th in Torrance. We already have 44 women registered. This is for women only this time. And we're going to drink tea. Unfortunately, we won't be drinking alcohol, but we're going to drink tea. I want to lead that painting workshop. So it's more like an opportunity to empower women, to develop our network, to spend some time away from our busy lifestyles, just to kind of dedicate our time for ourselves. And we actually call the workshop. Yeah, say again?
You say a painting work.
Yes, workshop. It's a sip and paint. So we'll be drinking tea.
Oh, the sip and paint. Okay, yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, right. That's gonna be cute.
We actually call the workshop "Be My Valentine," because it's kind of like you get to be my Valentine that day.
Well, we got to have you involved in our combat boots and lace team as well. Martha, share more.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a part of our
absolutely.
great
This is
talent.
amazing.
We
You
have
share a lot of similarities with both
Right.
Consuela and I.
We
It's
have
amazing.
an extensive background in fashion design and also with putting on fashion shows. So I'm really excited on what you're doing. That's my industry that I literally grew up in and took care of my kids with, but I have a passion for it, especially for our veterans and models that have disabilities. We put some amazing shows on throughout Los Angeles and several other states, and we want to share that with you and get you involved in what we're doing.
Thank you. Like I said, in any way I can support, like I'm more than happy to be part of it.
Great, great. That would be wonderful. And Martha, she's also a designer and a fashion
Boutique owner. Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
right. So we have to get you involved in what we're doing. Let's make something happen for our females. Continue.
You know, my background as well too, because I work with my
Well, that's right.
program,
That's
and that's
exactly
why I network with Carolina.
right, right. That's what you have. You been
Yeah.
how long you had and yours is what, registered with the government or something?
Yeah, we're
Your show?
we're approved by the federal government, the IRS, the Department of Justice, and the state of California.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, well, we got to have you back for sure, and we want to tell you more about what we're doing and get you involved. But anyway, moving right along, it's on you, Taylor, and we're going to start winding down the show.
Yes, good morning.
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay. So, how to date a woman who uses a wheelchair. Since I have used a wheelchair all of my life with pose, ease, and confidence, people tend to ask me questions such as, how did you become Miss Wheelchair California? How did you get such a prestigious job at Edwards Air Force Base? And now you're getting your master's at USC and so much more. One day, a male classmate who I consider a dear friend came to me after class. He said he had met someone who uses a wheelchair and wanted to ask her out on a date, but didn't know how. Oh, this feels so familiar. I told him to just be himself and never assume you are dating a woman, a handicapped woman, but a woman first and foremost who just happens to be using a wheelchair. My friend met this Melissa in college, in a college statistics class, when the professor in a quiet monotone voice asked him for something about the Pearson R, my friend's mind went blank. Then this beautiful woman in a wheelchair shoved the paper under his nose and fixed him with a dazzling smile. He said he sweared he was in love. It was love at first sight. He said he was on the horns of a dilemma. How do you go about dating someone in a wheelchair? I told him she is far from disabled and can do anything from that chair that most could never dream possible. I said to first get that chair out of his head. It's just an accessory, and it is. And also, don't push your chair without asking. Don't manhandle her out of the car and into her wheelchair, or out of her chair into the car. Ask for help. Even pointless questions shouldn't be avoided. And this is all too familiar because I am in the dating scene, and so a lot of the people that I've been talking to, I have been the first one with a disability and with a physical disability in a wheelchair. And I have to tell them, straight up, it's like you said, it's just an accessory. It doesn't define me. It's just something that I use for mobility, and I sit pretty in it. And I sit pretty in it. That's it. I just sit pretty in it.
I love it. There you go. That's right. Seconds now.
Taylor, I have to say this. I love your personality and attitude, and I am so, I don't know, appreciative of it. And I just want to say this, because when you just said it's just an accessory and don't push someone's chair without asking, I had a flashback because after my last injury and I had to learn to walk again, and I was in the wheelchair, and people want to push you, and they push you where they want you to go. And if you want to stop and look, it's like I wanted to look at that, but They kept, they just push you where they want you to go. So I really, I give you all the kudos, and I just thank you for just being you.
She's very
Thank you. I
impressive.
appreciate that.
Yes.
And she's very confident, and I think she's just amazing.
Yes, she is. I love her. I love her
Thank
attitude.
you. Thank you.
She's going for, are you
Anything,
going for your
Hi,
master's, right? Right, or you,
I'm going for my
uh-oh.
master's
Your
four of my
computer
master's
is
program.
say it
Yeah, I
again.
know it's a lot. No, I'm in week 4 of my master's program, and so it's been interesting getting back into the swing of things in class and learning how to organize and all that on top of work.
Right.
And I actually, well,
Uh-oh. Your internet is acting cuckoo.
it is acting cuckoo. Can you hear me? Is it better?
Yeah.
I will be starting a position where I advocate for active duty members on base with disability concerns. And so I will be, I will be communicating with like the test wing and all the higher ups. And so that's something that I will be doing now.
That's at Edwards Air Force, right?
Yes. Mhm.
That's so cool. And who encouraged you to start over there? And
Who encouraged me?
Who involved with our veterans?
There was a little birdie or someone named Consuela Mackey who I met through my undergrad. I was working with the Center of Disabilities there, and they said, hey, we have an internship or an opportunity for you, to kind of a volunteer opportunity. And I knew nothing about Operation Confidence. I knew nothing about the military other than my uncle was a Vietnam vet, and it hit him hard.
Right.
So I was like, I don't want to do nothing with military, whatever. But then working with Consuela and learning about it and seeing that she had a heart for it, and I have the opportunity to help people make that transition from active duty to veteran and helping them kind of navigate life on the other side. I really appreciated it. And from there, I just was applying for jobs, and I said, hey, let's do family advocacy. I didn't know nothing about it, and they called me and they said, hey, we want you.
And we got like almost a 10-year history, something like that. Yeah. My little girlfriend's
probably a little more, yeah.
Yes, I think so. She and Martha's gonna carry the torch. That's only later. I'm going nowhere now. Don't torch me out yet.
You don't need to go nowhere yet. You
no, you ain't
stay
going
right
nowhere.
there.
No,
stay right there.
No, but I just want you to know I've already picked my little birdies. But thank you so much. And I'm excited. We're winding down now. We had a great show. It had a little glitch in the beginning. John, you got to come back now and share some more of your stories. And of course, Carolina, we're going to be involved. And Katie, I think you're just absolutely fabulous. And I'm just so excited. We had a great show anyway. And I thank you so much. Did you guys enjoy the show? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we did. Okay. So I was going to turn it over there to you now, Taylor, Martha, and then we're going to wind out and say bye. So take it away, Taylor.
I would like to remind our viewers and listeners about our amazing advertisement rates. We have 20 and 30-second advertisement slots available. Please email info@operationconfidence.org, for more information, and visit Operation Confidence's website at www.operationconfidence.org. Visit the resource page for some amazing resources. I would also like to inform our viewers and listeners about Amazon Smile. When making your next purchase on Amazon, please go to Amazon Smile and type in Operation Confidence in the Choose Your Organization donation box. Amazon will make a small donation to Operation Confidence. Also, to get involved in Operation Confidence Tiny House Project, visit our website and send us a message on how you would like to be involved.
Okay, and to our viewers, we would like to inform you about Operation Confidence's Positive Redirection Team, a group of male and female veterans who are mentors, having overcome similar challenges and situations, transitioning back into mainstream society. To be connected or to become a team member, email us at info@operationconfidence.org. And we are also excited to inform our listeners about Operation Confidence's Combat Boots and Lace women veterans mentoring and creative arts group. We've got 2 more women to add to that list. We heard today from Carolina and her extensive fashion background. So we're looking to get more women and men involved. We also heard a little bit about John's yoga instructor experience, and that's definitely something that we want to reconnect with you, John, about later when we are kind of nearing the planning stage of our programming with around the tiny houses project. So really excited that we met a couple more, superstar guests today. And then, again, just trying to reach out to let folks know that we have a couple of opportunities for you to get involved. So if you'd like to learn more about that women's program that we are going to be getting up off the ground, please email us at info@operationconfidence.org, or you can email me at martha@operationconfidence.org.
Yes, thank you so much. And Kev, I know you're a busy camper, but we definitely need all of your encyclopedia help. Okay. He's a walking encyclopedia. He gave us some great information, but by him being on the board, he's committed to helping us as well. So thank you all so much. Great show. And we're winding down now. And as always, I want to remind our listeners that our goal for this show is to raise awareness about Operation Confidence and our mission, which is to provide stable housing with a wide range of supportive services for our veterans, including employment opportunities. So to get involved with our grassroots efforts, please email info@operationconfidence.org. And make sure you visit our website, www.operationconfidence.org. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, please don't forget to subscribe to our American Invisible Heroes YouTube channel. Okay, we need all the subscriptions we can get. Thank you so much, and see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Okay, bye.
Closing out.
Thank you.
Operation Confidence proudly presents America's Invisible Heroes radio talk show. Tune in weekly on Sundays, 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific Time, with your hosts, Consuelo Mackey, U.S. Army veteran and co-host Matt Davison, announcer Taylor Marcella, and Brooke Gadesi, U.S. Army veteran and entertainment segment host Charles Whitehead, Veterans and Legal segment host, attorney Danielle Sherrod, U.S. Army Veterans and Lifeline for Women Veterans segment host Martha Elena Varela, Veterans in Recovery host Anthony Akinpora, and U.S. Air Force veteran and Incarceration to Success segment host Kevin Lewandowski. For more information or to be a guest on our show, email info@operationconfidence.org.
Bye-bye.
Bye.